Slightly different surrounding, playing with the big boys today. Hey everybody, I'm Bill. Welcome to John Wayne Airport, one of the busiest airports in the country, and particularly with private jets. And we're here looking at this gorgeous Sovereign, and we're gonna get a little bit of a tour from one of the plane's pilots, who you may know from such videos as A36 walk around and flying with the Blue Angels. This is one of the planes that Brad flies, and he's got some private jet pilot things to do and invited us along to take a look. These are really, really cool, but we'll let Brad talk about what makes them so cool. This is a little bit different than a Bonanza.
Yeah.
What do we got here, Brad?
Marginally different. This actually flies approaches slower. So this is a 2009, late 2009 Citation Sovereign, C680 model. This one is about 2,500 hour airplane. Relatively new, relatively low utilization for the kind of airplane that it is, but this is my day job. This is my primary source of income, and this is what I fly to feed the other hungry airplanes. So I've flown 55 or 56 types now. I've lost track, but out of all the types I've flown, this is far and away my favorite airplane. I love this airplane so much. It's good at everything, and it's not really bad at anything aside from I wish it carried an extra 1,000 pounds of fuel. But other than that, yeah, it's a phenomenal airplane.
So what are we looking at here from an avionics package wise? What does this allow you to do? What does it not allow you to do? What is it comparable to?
Yeah, so this is the Honeywell Primus Epic system. This software version is the most recent. I think they're up to 6 point something now, but basically this airplane was designed to be flown in air carrier operations in the worst of the weather. So it's an all-weather airplane with manual ice controls, no automatic ice detection. But the avionics are tested and certified to Category 2 sensitivity, so you could theoretically run down to about 100 feet rad altitude, and I think it's 800 foot RVR or something like that. Nobody I know of trains Cat 2 on Sovereigns, including myself, so I have, I'm kind of just ballparking what it should be able to do, but the airplane's certified for it. It's one of the few airplanes of this category or this class that is a Cat 2 airplane. But yeah, Primus Epic, it's great at displaying all the information you want. This system in the 680 series was succeeded by the Garmin G5000, but this was the backbone of the 680 from 2004 until about 2014.
How citation-y is this plane?
Interesting question. So this airplane takes all of the good things of the previous Citations and keeps them and got rid of most of the bad things. So the stabilizer, for example, horizontal stabilizer is actuating. That's part of your primary trim system. Unlike the Excel, it's a full range stabilizer actuation. It's not a two position. So you can see I have a stabilizer position indicator here on the MFD, or on the ICAS rather, that I can move the stabilizer. And that's my primary trim for the elevator, for example. So that's something they fixed like from the Excel. From the 500 series, most of the switches are in similar positions. They did a really good job with kind of standardizing across the whole Citation family. And there's familiar things from every airplane. So this was, like I said, a 2004 design. So the flap selector is off of the Citation 3 in the 10 series. The speed brake handle is off the Citation 10 series. This panel is off of the 10 series. Gear handle is off of the 10 and the Excel. The boost pump switches, ignition switches, everything like that over here in front of me to my left, that's all common with the Excel, the 500 series, things like that. So it's a very easy airplane to step up into from the smaller Citations. In my career, I went backwards. So I started on this plane, then I went to the 500, then I went to the Excel. But even that, starting with this plane, and particularly going to the Excel after I had flown this for a couple of years, going to the Excel from this plane, I was sitting in school going, oh, that's where they got that. Oh, that makes sense. So there's a lot of commonality, which is really, really nice. But yeah, it does everything better than its predecessors, with the exception of it's not as fast as the 10. That's the only place that it falls short. So this is a Mach 8.0 airplane, which is plenty fast, but it's not a 925 airplane like the 10 is.
So you fly this as your day job. How is the owner experience for this from like a maintenance, management, upkeep, that perspective?
Yes, certainly more expensive than an Excel. It is not egregious when you're talking about jets of this class and of this capability range, but it's, so for example, it's cheaper than a Challenger, it's more expensive than an Excel or a Hawker, right? Unless you get a bad Hawker, and then it's way less expensive. But anyway, it's cheaper than a comparable super mid. It's more expensive than a mid-size, which is designed to exceed, right? So generally, for a 300-hour a year budget, you're looking at something like $1.5 to $2 million for operating cost. When it comes to pilots, insurance, actual fuel, engines, things like that. So about, call it $2 million for 300 hours, $2 million a year. Purchase price right now on these airplanes, it's really hard to find one under $8 million. It's impossible to find one under $7 million. They're all really holding their value well. That's up about 100% compared to 4 years ago when they were starting to dip below 4 pretty frequently, or I'm sorry, below 5 pretty frequently and below 4 on occasion. So they're holding value well. They've appreciated quite a bit, which I expect to continue with these planes. This is a really, really good airplane as far as like longevity is concerned. The only real Achilles heel with this plane is the display units here. These display units are getting harder and harder to find, and they're getting more expensive. So last I heard, one of these DUs is about $180,000, and we got 4 of them. So
wait a second.
Yeah.
One of these screens is $180,000.
That's what I've heard, which is funny because you go to the older screens, like in the Gulfstream, the older Gulfstream screens are like 60 grand each, and they got 6 of them. So 2 of these is basically the cost of the entire panel on a G4, from what I understand. Again, I have not priced one recently. That's just the info I've been given.
So how much of that is the aviation tax? Because being
all of it?
a part of like computer tech, even if it was a 300 hertz refresh rate OLED panel with millisecond gray to black pixel response times, which it's not.
No. Yeah, so they're not new by any stretch of the imagination. These are the same displays that are in the XLS, so 2004 vintage, or same tech, I should say. They're not the same part number, but yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, this is the nerdy end. How about we check out the kind of posh, sexy side of this airplane, which is back there. All right, I am not gonna lie, I can get used to this.
It's not so bad, right?
So I feel like the corporate jet world is a little bit odd in that, and this is us coming from, watching random YouTube videos on private jet sales guys and whatever, that there's a very distinct difference between what's going on up there and how it relates to the capabilities and the performance of the plane, and what's going on back here.
Sure.
That's the more commonly thought about component of private jet flying. It's, how many seats, what's the configuration.
Sure.
So my bias towards the front of the airplane would lead me to believe that the back of the airplane is almost incidental to what you do. How much do you know about back here, and how much does that play into your job?
If I'm sitting back here, I've either done something very well or very poorly to result in my appearance back here, right? So, my interaction with the back of this airplane pretty much stops once the owner's on board. Not all owners are that way, or all passengers are that way. Some want more interaction with the passengers and things like that. This particular airplane, he's entirely self-sufficient. He knows how to operate everything back here. He knows what he can't do, shouldn't do, and he pretty much follows the rules. So this owner is phenomenal. I love flying for him. He's one of the best owners I've flown for in the last pretty much my entire career. So he's awesome. But there's really no interaction for me back here unless they need something, right? But in a case like this, where this is a privately owned Part 91 airplane with primarily one lead passenger on it that we fly both for personal and business travel, he set up the galley how he wanted it. He has all of his own snacks. He has all of his own plates and things like that. These pillows you see, these are not standard to the plane. He bought these specifically for it. You know, he spec'd out this interior. This interior is less than 6 months old. Spec'd the interior out, built it all the way he wanted it to with colors and patterns and things like that. He knows how the airplane is and exactly how he wants it. So he knows where things are back here more than I do. Like I don't know what all is in the cabinet, because he'll get on the airplane and leave something in there, you know, umbrella, blankets, what have you. So it kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to ask me where something is, right? Because I didn't put it on the plane in the first place.
That's interesting. So like my assumption in this case was kind of correct. Maybe that's not every, you know, maybe not even every Part 91 job, let alone 135, but the fact that this is privately owned, interior spec by the owner, it doesn't matter, right? To you, it doesn't, like, you don't care if this is all bed
he runs his house back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this plane, he treats it, this is a flying bedroom. It's a conference room. It's an office. It's, you know, a telecom center for him sometimes. He'll be sitting here with his laptop out and on the phone and stuff like that. So, yeah, this airplane is set up how he wants it because he has the design mission in mind. And for example, it lets him do like the next trip we're doing. We're doing a red eye to Teterboro, right? We leave out of here at 9:30 at night. We land in Teterboro 4:30 in the morning and come straight home that day. So he'll be sleeping all the way there, and I won't. But yeah, he'll sleep all the way there, and you know, we'll be there for 12 hours, then come home, and he'll probably sleep on the way home too. And you know, we have a couch in the back that allows for that. I'm sorry, airplane. It's a divan in an airplane. We have a couch in the back, and you know, these seats swivel around, and you can turn them into a lie flat seat if you want to. Actually, incredibly comfortably too. I've been on long delivery flights where I take a nap in the back when the airplane's sitting on the ground waiting for customs or paperwork or what have you. So yeah, he's entirely self-sufficient. And the majority of owners I have in the Part 91 world are that way. It's their airplane. They know where everything is. They want it done their way, so they're going to do it that way. So.
How much of the actual like weight and balance or performance of the airplane depends on the cabin layout? Like, is that part of the equation at all?
It does make a big difference, yeah. This plane, the 680 series in general, it's almost impossible to get it out of balance. It's certainly possible to overweight it, but it is very difficult to get it out of balance. The G4 series, and even more so the G3 series before that, galley location mattered a lot. An aft galley airplane and a forward galley airplane are going to be very different in what their CG location is. Particularly with an aft galley airplane versus forward galley, you're talking about your 1,300 pounds of just furnishings like ice and microwaves and stuff like that. Life vests, life rafts that go into the galley and into the various different, you know, credenzas and couches and things like that. That makes a difference. And just for non-permanent installations, I mean, it's 1,300 pounds on one of the G4s that I fly. So you can imagine with the cabinetry and the ovens and things like that, they're heavy. And if you move them 40 feet aft in the airplane, it makes a big difference in the CG. So
it's like a sandbag in a 152.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just a bigger 152.
That's awesome. So is there anything about this cabin that's particularly custom, or is it?
Yeah, this one's pretty unique. So most Sovereigns are a double club with either a 1 or 2 place divan up front. This Sovereign is a single place side-facing seat up here, which is normal. But in the aft cabin, there's a 3 place divan. Highly abnormal for Sovereigns. There aren't very many of them with that. I understand that it makes it difficult to get it certified 135 depending upon what the construction of the divider is in front of it and things like that. Most people don't like to sit sideways as well. So it's a unique configuration. What it does allow you to do if you're flying at 91 and in cruise, owner can come back here and lay fully flat on the van and take a nap. You know, or if he wants to have a little team meeting in the back with, you know, if he's got a couple of his employees or colleagues or friends or what have you in the back, he can go sit on the divan and look at both of them at the same time, you know, and do it that way. So, whereas with the 4-place club is a more traditional setup for it. It's a little bit more comfortable, I think, for prolonged, you know, trips and things like that. I don't really want to sit sideways somewhere I can't stretch my legs out, but
yeah, this is nice. Like this, the leg room. I mean, I'm 6'5".
Yeah,
and I mean, obviously, whoever's sitting there, you know, if anyone's sitting there.
Yeah, and these seats are unique too in that they have a footrest at the bottom. Not all of them do, but these ones do. So again, I'm trying not to put my shoe on the seat.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part about
some
white
other
leather.
dude's $8 million jet.
Yeah, unfortunate part about white leather is that it shows everything.
Yeah, let's test all the footrests.
Right, yeah.
That's
so,
awesome.
you know, that's relatively unique with 680s. Not all of them have the footrest as well. These seats all articulate too.
Ooh,
so they can rotate all the way around.
Ooh, that's a fun toy. Like oh, all the way around.
Yeah, they can if you weren't as tall as I am. But,
that's super rad.
They articulate and they recline if I can find the button. And yeah, they're nice. The armrests come down. It's got a table and everything over here, so I got to move the speaker. But
yeah, so this thing isn't wired for sound?
No, this one is not. A lot of them are, but this one is not. So yeah, it's got a nice table that I need to clean. That's part of why we're here, because I'm doing post-trip housekeeping on it. So
it's not to take me to Hawaii.
No,
we're here to
unfortunately not
repack the snack bar.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very comfortable for all the way up to 8 people. More than 8, it starts to get a little bit cramped.
That is a lot of people. 8 people comfortable.
Yeah, so you know, you look at something like 500 series, right? 500 series is comfortable up to probably, you know, it's got 7 seats in the back, but you wouldn't want to put more than 3 people back there, because otherwise you're going to be crisscrossing legs and stuff like that. Can't move the seat away from the wall.
That's true. I haven't looked in the back. I mean, everyone that's watching this is looking at the B-roll right now to see how pretty the back is. But yeah, I guess it's 4 and 4.
Yeah,
so
normally it would be. This one's 4 plus 2 plus 3 with the divan. So.
the divan's is a three-place.
3-place side-facing divan.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So there's seating for 11, 10.
In this one,
seating for 10, right?
No
okay.
belted lap.
5, 4, and 1 up there. Okay.
Yep.
Plus the 2 Yahoos up front.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's 2 hooligans. So full-size sink in this plane, full-size lav. It's a vacuum lav, or I'm sorry, not a vacuum lav. It's a wet lab, so it's works just fine, but it does need power on it to run.
I'm sure you've learned that the hard way.
Not the lab so much as the sink. The sink needs vacuum pressure. Yep.
Is this a plane that can have a flight attendant?
Can, yeah. So they made about 500 Sovereigns, give or take a couple. The probably most uncommon option is a jump seat on it, but it is an option. I've flown 2 with a jump seat, and I was told that there were only like 10 that left the factory with it. So yes, it can have a flight attendant, it can have a jump seat. Very few people do. This airplane does not have a full-size galley, does not have a microwave or an oven or anything like that, so there's really not a whole lot that a flight attendant's going to do for you. There's not a whole lot of space to store food, even if you were able to reheat it or make it or anything like that. So really not designed for that. It's designed more for the self-sufficient owner.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Brad, for this cool tour of this beautiful, beautiful Sovereign. Again, if you have any questions for Brad, leave them in the comments below, and I won't do anything except for say, Brad, what's the answer to this question? Brad will answer those questions, and maybe we'll do some more of these. We'll take a look at the exterior, and if there's some other private jets that we might be able to steal the keys to,
we got a couple that we can look at.
We can maybe poke around. So thanks, guys, for watching, liking, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.